Hey, how's it going, guys? Garcia here with your daily portfolio update. So in this video, I'm going to share some of the trades that I made today. I did take some profits on Palantir. I bought some spreads on RKLB, Tesla, and we'll check out Hims as well. It looks like Hims is tanking after hours. So let's get into it. Today we are down to $309,629 or $580.03 after hours. So let's check it out. The Roth IRA is down 4% and down 1% after hours. Year to date, down 9% and 107% all time, going back to December 11th, 2023. Buying power 42 cents. We're up 30% on RKLB, down 18% on Hims, and down 20% on Tesla. Here's the equity. So this is basically an all-in RKLB portfolio still. All right. The big account is down 9% today and an additional 1% after hour. Year to date, we're up 15% and all time 326%, going back to August 2nd of 2020. Buying power 266 grand, and these are the new positions. So here I got some spreads on RKLB and Tesla. So a spread is this particular spread is I bought a $35 call for RKLB and I'm selling a $50 call against it for the same expiration. Now, by doing this, I'm capping my upside to about 600% return. And I'm minimizing my downside. Well, I'm reducing my downside by having a higher break even or having a lower break even price, which is $37. And I'm putting $10,000 at risk here instead of, let's say, the $15,000 worth of shares that I sold. So I sold $15,000 worth of shares. I kept the $5,000 as cash, and I put the $10,000 to work in these spreads. And I'll show you guys the simulation of returns. So this is what the returns would look like if RKLB just stayed the same throughout the entire process. It would basically stall, it would go up a little bit, but then it would just slowly start draining and then quickly accelerate towards the end to max loss. Let's say RKLB goes down by, let's say, 15%. This here is going to go down by 32%. It's going to hold steady for a bit and then slowly drain out. Now, let's see if RKLB goes up by 10%. If it goes up by 10%, this is actually going to be, losing value. But if it holds, it'll be up 2% by November. Now let's go to the break even. The break even is $37. So let's say that's a 50% return from here. A 50% return here at the peak, which would be July 2026. This would be a 76% return instead of a 50% return holding shares. Let's go to $40. At $40, the stock would be up by 78%. The spread would immediately be up by 68% and then gain value over time. And this is where it would basically peak at. It would peak around 42 days to expire, and it would be up 167%. Now let's go to the max profit scenario. If RKLB is at or above $50 by January 2027. So let's say RKLB is at $50 here. If it was at $50 tomorrow, this is a 122% return. But if you're holding the spread, that 122% return is up against a spread that has gone up by 600%. So this is the max profit scenario if I were to hold it to expiration And I mean, I think getting, like, I mean, what is a 600% return? What is that, a 7x? You know, getting a 6-7x return on something that has gone up 122%, I think it's a good deal. Because if I were to be holding shares and I wanted 600% return, I mean, the stock would have to be at around $160 a share. It would have to be $160 a share for me to see similar returns as I would seen with the call debit spread if RKLB only goes up to 50. So this is where things look really, really good. This is where things look very attractive for spreads. Now, mind you, the risk is that the economy tanks and we struggle for 2 years and these spreads expire worthless. I mean, that's kind of the worst case scenario, but this is why I'm going to be limiting the amount of money I have exposed to spreads. But I think they can be a very, very good tool if you use it on stocks and companies that you have a high degree of conviction that they will be going up over the next 1 year, 2 years. I have the same spreads, similar spreads with Tesla. I bought the $350 call and I sold the $500 call against it. Let's move on. Palantir, I trimmed 200 shares. I was kind of annoyed because last night when I had decided I was going to sell Palantir, I wanted to sell the shares in the morning because I had to select which lots I was going to be selling them in. And of course, it just it didn't work out that way. I sold the shares at a 90. Where was Palantir when I sold it? At 93. So I sold the 200 shares at 93.96. Realized profit of 14 grand. But these were all with long-term shares, thankfully, because I was able to select the lots thanks to Robinhood. So long-term capital gains on those shares. And now, Palantir looks like it has dipped. It has gone down further from that 90. What did I sell it at? Like 93 or something. Yeah, it's gone down an additional 3-4%. Now, RKLB, I did sell those shares to make room for the spreads. And Hims, that initial Hims position has tanked. Hims at $42 right now. I mean, I guess the market really punished them with the earnings. But hey, thankfully, it was only my first bullet. I didn't really go balls deep into Hims right away. And here's the realized profit and loss so far. So in the past month, realized $21,493. And year to date, $32,700 in realized gains. Okay. Let's see what's going on Twitter. Now, I had a post go viral. So I saw a couple of Warren Buffett posts talking about his wealth over time and how much he's compounded. So I thought it would be funny to track his, make a graph of his age. And I just put interesting. Twitter absolutely loved it. 57,000 likes, 1.6 million views. And so I got quite a few follows off of that post. So I kind of introduced myself, and I put, to give you an idea of what my account is about, I made a short thread of some of my most popular posts. So here's the one from the weekend the Canada-Mexico tariffs were announced. Knowing I could have retired my entire bloodline with fart and drug. The vibe trader. Buying the dip based off a gut feeling. Listening to an earnings call for a company I have 0.7 shares in. This is the day Palantir shot up above $100. And so these are some of the biggest hits. And I mean, of course, I had to end it with Alex Karp giving me a shout out. Shout out to you, Alex Karp.
Mad respect. The man is an artist. The man is an artist.
And yeah, it looks like, oh, stop giving me your toughest battles. I never told you to buy weekly options. Lesson learned, guys. You know, with all this volatility.
You seem kind of psyched.
No. Oh, that's terrible.
You seem kind of psyched.
No, I'm bummed. But I wasn't bummed. I was stoked. Oh.
Everyone with covered calls are low-key happy. And it looks like that's going to be it, guys. This was kind of a long one. Usually Mondays, they're usually a longer video. But yeah, lots of trades today. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. I mean, I know I don't do that great of a job explaining things and breaking things down. I just kind of explain it the way I can. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for staying tuned. And yeah, leave a comment, hit the like button, and I will see you guys tomorrow.